Imagine not being able to read the paper because your hands were shaking. Imagine not being able to read newsprint as your world faded to black. The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. With your host, Lee Martin, and co-host, Florence Myers McSwine.
Welcome to this week's National Federation of the Blind Newsline, Indiana. And I'm your co-host, Florence Myers McSwine, and I'm here with your host, Mr. Lee Martin. And Lee, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing fantastic and staying COVID-19 free. So I trust you and everyone else is doing the same. So we're talking about NFB Newsline, a free audio information service. And I want to thank everyone that joined in on the survey that we had regarding the service. The service survey is going to help us to maintain a service to you and make sure that it's keeping up with the technologies of today. So thank you for your participation. There's so much more going on with our NFB Newsline and with the magazines, TV guides, the weather listings, there's so much going on. And we want you to have that free right there at your fingertips. Florence, would you talk a little bit about the devices that individuals can access the free service on?
Surely. One of my favorites that I enjoy using is the iPhone. I use the iPhone app to access NFB Newsline. A lot of other people like using a landline phone. Yes, a lot of people still do have a landline. And there's people who use the Android. There is the digital player from the Talking Book and Braille Library. There's also the Victor Reader Stream, which is another device that we use frequently, as well as the Amazon Alexa. So those are the devices that we use to access NFB Newsline.
We will be taking a short break and we'll be coming back with our guest for this week's show, the legendary champion, Sugar Ray Seales. So stay tuned. Join us.
If you or someone you know is visually impaired or print challenged, the National Federation of the Blind has a resource you need.
Wow, I scored a touchdown when I found sports on NFB Newsline.
I enjoy reading TV guide listings on NFB Newsline.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
We are the nation's blind. We read NFB Newsline.
It's free.
I love to read. I've always loved to read. Reading takes me places I'm not able to go by air, bus, or car. I plan on reading every newspaper Newsline has.
No more did I have to wonder about the rest of the story when disaster struck. I could open the local paper for that town and find out. And when I discovered that NFB Newsline could be a powerful tool for TV watching, listing all my favorite channels and what was on when, I was most definitely hooked.
I am a blind vendor, and one of the things that I truly miss is reading Vending Times magazine.
Hoosiers can hear Indiana magazines, circulars, national magazines, and information from across the globe. Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
It is a fantastic service.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline today.
Welcome back to this segment of the National Federation of the Blind Newsline, Indiana. And we have our special guest today, Sugar Ray Seales.
How you doing, Brother Sugar Ray?
I can't complain. It's a great day.
It's a great day, I tell you. Every last one above ground is. And hey, I just want to let you know that we are so elated to have you on our show today. You are a legacy and you're a great part of our history. And you continue to be a great part of our community here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And your journey is one that we really want to share with our community and our listeners and our viewers. And I'm ready to just get started. So,
My pleasure.
and I tell you, I have been so excited just talking with you offline. And I'm just waiting to share all that we can share with our community. So, Florence, go ahead and start this here show.
Well, Sugar Ray Seales.
Yes.
Now tell us a little bit about you. Now, from what I've read, now you're from St. Croix,
St.
US
Croix, Virgin
Virgin
Islands.
Islands.
Yes. Born in 1952. St. Croix in the Virgin Islands to Charles and Belencita Seales, my mother and my father. End up with 4 brothers, or 3 other brothers and 4 sisters. In 1963 or 62, my mother decided to move to Tacoma, Washington. Only reason we moved to Tacoma, Washington was because her brother told her what a fancy place it was in Tacoma, Washington. We was moving to another world, a new world from the Virgin Islands. And so we moved. My mother moved 8 children, 4 boys and 4 girls. Now listen to this. When we moved to Washington State, we had to go out and pick beans, berries, cucumbers, and all that stuff. We was called sharecroppers, and that was the only way that we could earn our living in coming from the Virgin Islands. We were strange people. We had an accent, we still do, and people laugh at that accent because they didn't know nothing. We was a strange person. But here's what happened. 1963 on to 1972, we have earned our right to become Washingtonians in Tacoma, Washington. I went to the Olympics. What happened in the Olympics? 1972, I was the only American fighter to win an Olympic gold medal. The only American fighter. I had problems getting to the Olympics because I was qualified to go into the military. I was going to go in the Air Force because I had some Air Force fighters with me. But my mother, my beautiful mother, she bought a plane ticket 6 months before I even qualified to go to the Olympics. So I had my back already. I didn't need no other, I had my back. My mother was right with me. When we went to Munich, I was 19 years old. I turned 20 on my second flight in Munich, Germany. I fought Ireland. West Germany, Ireland, Cuba, Yugoslavia, and Bulgaria. I fought 5 people from different countries at 19 and 20. Didn't know nothing. But I had my back because I had my mother. My mother was there to protect me. You know what happened? I protected her because we had the terrorist killing. I protected her. I made sure that she didn't come to the place when we had that problem. I told her, stay home, I'll call you when it's time to come. But we made it the last day. She saw me win that gold medal. Let me tell you something, what I did. I dropped the Bulgarian with the bolo punch. Kid Gavin had a bolo punch, but I dropped the Bulgarian. And when I dropped the Bulgarian, I said, yes, there we just done what we needed to do, win that gold medal.
Now tell me, Sugar Man, as we're gonna call you, let's see here. When you, before you came to Tacoma, Washington, now your father, he was also a boxer, right?
Yes, my father fought 3 years in the military. He retired with a 31-1 record. I mean, you know, and the one he fooled around the night before, you know, they tell you, I'm going to throw this out because all the fighters got to listen to this. Sex weakens legs.
I had heard.
You just laughed at that. I saw that smile.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So you saying that because he had sex, he lost the one fight?
He had sex before, the night before, and he lost that fight. And they they tell you now, and that's what happens in the days that's going on these days. You got to watch what you do. When you go to the training camp, you stay there without your wife, without a female there. And then when you go and you fight, you're hungry. Be hungry.
Learn something today. Okay.
Yes, you got to be.
Now tell me something. Okay, so you started boxing at 9 years old?
I started at 9 from my dad. I learned from my dad, and I left the Virgin Islands at 12. So I had 3 years of experience, from my dad. But going to school in the Virgin Islands, no one wanted to box. They didn't know what boxing or fighting was. So I had to use my brothers, 3 other brothers, and we had to beat each other up to learn what is called boxing. Sure, we had busted nose and loosened teeth and everything, but we had to go through that in order to become the champion that my dad was in the military.
Now, at what age did you actually consider boxing? I know that, you had your brothers at home and y'all basically beat up on each other as brothers do. But when did you actually consider being a boxer like your dad?
I started at 13. When I made it to Tacoma, Washington at 13, I started the Boys Club. And we lived right on the corner from the downtown Tacoma Boys Club, where my mom could come out the house and watch you go to the Boys Club and come out the house and watch you come back from the Boys Club. So she always had an eye on us. We started at the downtown Tacoma Boys Club in Tacoma, Washington. I had an accent. I talked that earlier, but they used to laugh at me because no one knew what I was talking about. So in order for me to find my coach, I walked up to this gentleman and I put my hand up and I said, box, one word, box. And he became my teacher. His name was Joe Cloud. Joe Cloud took the boxing team. He sent 3 fighters to 2 Olympics and came back with 2 gold medals. I mean, that's how good this gentleman is. He lives in Philippines now, but listen, he is my coach from here on out, ever. The best. I mean, he took a guy that didn't have, he couldn't speak English. He didn't have nothing going except for just one word, which was box, and he followed that, and we become the person that we are today.
Well, I tell you what, Sugar Man, we're going to take us a short break, and we're going to come back and talk about this some more, because how interesting is it that you move about a block away and from where you were training, and that led to your legacy. So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come right back with.
Yes, I got a lot more to go now.
We'll be right back.
I just graduated college as a blind student. How can I independently find job listings?
Thanks to the National Federation of the Blind, visually impaired Hoosiers can hear newspapers, circulars, and magazines from across the globe.
It is a fantastic service.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
We are the nation's blind, and we read NFB Newsline.
If you or someone you know is visually impaired or print challenged, the National Federation of the Blind has a resource you need.
I use NFB Newsline when reading Hammond Northwest Times.
Using NFB Newsline, I read the Christian Science magazine.
Dad, you read Jerusalem Post, too.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Live the life you want. Read NFB Newsline.
It's free.
Welcome back to this segment with our guests, Sugar Ray Seals and Jump. We were talking about your moving close to the Boys Club. So let's continue with that.
Okay. When we come from the Virgin, it just so happened again. It was just so, I don't know, the way God works. They say God works in mysterious ways, because where my mom was living at first was just right around the corner from the downtown Tacoma Boys Club. And then I moved to Tacoma, Washington, right there, 1 block from the downtown Tacoma Boys Club. I had boxing on my mind because, matter of fact, it was fighting, because people couldn't understand my language. My Virgin Island accent. People couldn't understand that, so they wanted to fight. So I put my glove up. I said box. And then I become that guy in the downtown woods. I didn't know I'd be the only one or the first one that the Boys Club would be having a winner. I won everything. I fought 9 years as an amateur. I had 350 amateur fights. I lost 12. I was the Golden Glove champ for 7 to 8 years in a row. I was a national champ for 2 or 3 years in a row. I won it. It just was in me. It was bred in me from my dad and from my mother just surrounding me. It was bred in me to become the best that I can for them. And for me, for them, for my mother and my father, for what they has given me and from sharing with me. So I had to give that back.
Mm-hmm.
Man, listen, going to the, I mean, when we went through, the president couldn't get an okay to go to the Olympics, and we had to find someone else to help us. We was determined to go to the Olympics and win that gold medal. My mom was already in the Munich. She already had a plane ticket 6 months before I even qualified. Now that's telling you something. That's telling you that your parents know what they're talking about because you are sharing something with them that means something. I gave my family a name. Everybody in this world knows about Sugar Ray Seals and Mrs. Seals because we was there together. And we met Howard Cosell and those kind of guys, man. I mean, we enjoyed ourselves. I want to tell you something. Before, Muhammad Ali was my best friend, man. I met him 3 or 4 or 5 different times. My best friend, we talk on the phone and whatnot. We fool around with each other. He met me one day in Portland, Oregon. I was blind. I had patches on, and he was throwing punches at me, and I was catching them. He stopped, and he was so amazed that he looked at me. He said, "Man, I thought you were blind." I said, "Chab, you know, that's just instinct. That's all you thought, and that's just instinct." So I understand, and I learned that. Instinct to deal with things because you couldn't see. And that's how I got along. I got by. And then, man, I met Sammy Davis Jr. The Candy Man sings for Sugar.
Wow. So Sugar. Let me step back for just 1 second here.
I've seen that question.
Inside there's a wealth of information once again about your mother's intuition.
Yeah.
And how young men nowadays, they need to listen and learn from their mothers. You know, oftentimes they get to be at that age and they just don't listen to their mothers, and they don't listen to guidance, you know. And your mother brought so much joy. You told me about her while you were training. You want to talk about you know, the joy that she brought to you and how she filled the gym up with her personality?
Yes, here's what happens. Every time the fight team goes out and fights somewhere, every time when we come back home, there's always food, a party at the club after we come back for the fighters. And you know, my mother put that together. She has all the parents come down and put that together to build a background to keep the fighters well protected and well in gear to go out there and do their job. I mean, my mother changed the boxing at the downtown Tacoma Boys Club by having the parents come and celebrate with their children. That's what my mother did. You know, we come from the Virgin Islands, man, they know nothing. But we build ourselves into something just by giving service to others. It's the room we pay for, our room in heaven. And that's what we've been doing. We didn't know about that word, but that's what we've been doing. I'm not the oldest. Again, I'm telling you, I have 3 other brothers and older sisters. But I'm there because winning the gold medal changed that. I am the oldest now because I'm responsible for what's happening to my family. My mother, she leaned it on me. She gave me the okay to become that person. And so my family, they all paid attention because my mother said, that guy there, your brother, that one there is going to be what he's after, being a champion, being a champion. And we're going to support. Hey, man, when my mom changed and went to Munich, I was 19. I was 19, and I'm in Munich, Germany, fighting fighters from another place that are older than I am, 27, 28, and 30s. But because of what I had with me, not only my mother, the Virgin Islands sent my dad. So my dad was at the Olympics in 1972. So was my coach, and so was my other fighter, my teammate. We was there for one thing. I went for it. The president wouldn't give me a break, but I went for it. And I ended up saving America. I saved America because I was the only fighter. Boxing is big in America. Boxing is big. I was the only fighter in 1972 Munich Olympics after the terrorist killings to bring back the gold medal for America. I held the flag. And you know, after I held the flag, when I come back, they say, thank you. I got patted on my shoulder, thank you. Now the military people, when they see me every now and then, they say, thank you, like they know me. And that's something else. You're known for what you have done. I appreciate that though. I mean, I love that. Because attention, we need attention. You know, every now and then we need to be pat on the shoulder, on the back, or shake a hand and say, thank you, or do this, or here's what we're looking at. I mean, hey, you're great. So I'm enjoying myself now. I love what I do now. I reach out, I travel, and I touch hands, and I shake hands, and I put my gold medal around people's neck and just change life. That's what the gold medal has done for me, and I'm sharing it back because you have to give back. You can't hold what you get, you got to give back. And so that's where I'm at. I'm enjoying myself. I'm really enjoying myself. I coach boxing here in Indianapolis. I've lived here 13 years, been coaching 11 with 2 teams, and we have won 10 Golden Glove team championships. You know something? I love Mexican fighters. They love me because we speak the same lingo. Same lingo, winning. And that's how we do that.
That's how you do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, you mentioned service. I mean, that's what I keep hearing you say.
Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
He said service to others. He said, you got to give.
He did.
You got to give. You know, for you to be the person that you are, you got to share. We have to share. You have to share how it is looking through the dim. Or to looking through the dark, because we are looking. Sure, it's reflecting back and forth in that eye, but we're seeing it because it's there in front. We're seeing it. And so, yeah, I'm legally, I had 8 surgeries, 8, 4 on my left and 4 on my right. I'm only focusing on my right, but I say God is in my left because I don't stumble, I don't fall.
No, Sugar Man. One thing that I still want to reflect back on, and you spoke on it very elegantly, the time in Munich when the village was terrorized and you had to protect your mother.
Yes.
And your father.
Yes.
At the age of 20.
I had to change to become the healer. I had to make sure that my mom knows what to do and what not to do, make sure my dad knows. And I had to and at the same time we talked, I was pumped, ready, because I just won the 4th fight. I was into my finals, and then the terrorist killing happened. Now I had to get into my brain to say, look, nothing's gonna happen to family. So I had to tell my parents, don't come in there until I call you. Wait for my call. And then all of a sudden they say that boxing, the Olympics, gonna continue. And right after that, I knew that we're here for one thing. We're gonna get it, and we're gonna get that gold medal. I knew. We was there for one thing and one thing only. Turned 20 and I went out there and I did what I was supposed to do. One thing only. You know, inside of my heart, my mind, when I was there, that last fight, I was saying to myself, oh, you got to give everything that you got to now because they can't take it from you. You could lose this and you're in a different country. You out of your realm. So I had to change that and focus on one thing after I done let my parents know what I need to do. Focus on one thing, winning that gold medal, becoming the champ that I wanted to be. That's why I went there. I didn't know I'd be the only one to win a gold medal, but I knew because I had the team with me. I had my family. I had my mom and my dad. I had my family with me.
You had a lot to be proud of.
Come on.
And you know what? I love this energy. And we're going to have to take it into our next week program with us. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take us a pause for this program, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk more with you because there's so much more to the journey that
you got a shovel. You got a shovel, and you're digging everything out of me. It's in there. Keep digging.
And we're going to be right back with our show next week, and we're going to have us a ball.
With my failing eyesight, I'm not able to read regular newspapers, and I'm not able to keep up with obituaries.
I've been a homemaker all of my life, but since my vision has failed, I wish I could read my favorite magazines.
Have you heard of the NFB Newsline?
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline today.
The National Federation of the Blind knows that blindness is not the characteristic that defines you or your future. Every day we raise the expectations of blind people because low expectations create obstacles between blind people and our dreams. You can live the life you want. Blindness is not what holds you back.
Thank you for joining us with this week's National Federation of the Blind Newsline, Indiana, with our guest today, who was Sugar Ray Seals, and we'll see you back on next week.
The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. For more information, go to nfb-in.org or call 855-963-6476. That's 855-963-6476. The National Federation of the Blind encourages you to live the life you want.